Hi, my name is Cheryl, and I'm a very late diagnosed autistic woman who also happens to have ADHD. And I was reading an article today, and I noticed that highly functioning autism was abbreviated HFA. And I thought, have I seen that term before? I wonder when that started. And I had to look it up. I stopped what I was reading and I looked it up, and apparently it was coined in 1980 by researchers who were trying to differentiate between autistic people who don't have intellectual delays and also who don't have high support needs. But apparently that's kind of controversial because it's a little misleading. Some people believe it leads to inaccurate assumptions about a person's abilities and also challenges. So some autistic people and researchers believe that it's better to look at each individual person and look at their abilities, look at their challenges, rather than just depending on the label high functioning autistic. Personally, I was diagnosed last year with level 1 autism without intellectual disability, which does, it does include some very important key information. Yes, autism, no intellectual disability, but it doesn't even begin to scratch the surface regarding the challenges, the daily challenges that I have. Now, I'm not saying that the doctors who diagnosed me should include those in my diagnosis. I mean, it would be, how long? It would be so long. But what I am saying is that it's a springboard. So after my diagnosis, I had to sit down and do a self-evaluation, do a self-assessment on what things do I like, what do I not like, what makes me feel good and not feel good, what are my challenges, what are my support needs, right? But as far as labeling, everything I think with autism is really evolving, and we're starting to change how we think about it, how we diagnose it. I mean, it wasn't long ago that women weren't even thought to have it, right? We are thinking differently about how it's being labeled, which is what we're talking about right now, and just the whole concept of autism. It's just evolving. So moving forward, we do have to have some concise language in order to communicate. So what would be your vote? How would you name it or label it? How would you differentiate between the nuances and variations? I'm really curious to know. So put your answers in the comments and let's all just maybe we can vote. Hope you all have a great day.